Well, joining me now from Westminster is the Labour MP and former Shadow Minister Rushanara Ali. Thank you very much indeed for being with us, Miss Ali. Have you made up your mind how you're going to vote on this withdrawal agreement tomorrow?
I have. I will be voting against this deal. This is an even worse deal than the Theresa May deal. It waters down labour standards. It fails to provide a level playing field. It weakens the political declaration, which isn't a legally binding agreement anyway. And there's absolutely no clarity about the future trading relationship. It's going to make our constituents even worse off than under the Theresa May deal. And that's why I believe we should be voting this deal down and moving towards voting for a public confirmatory vote so that people have a say over the final outcome of what kind of Brexit they can have, and also the option to vote to remain within the European Union. I believe that is still the best deal we have, and the public should have the opportunity to have that final say.
Your viewpoint is in line with the viewpoint of the Labour leadership. Do you think any of your colleagues who vote with the government should face sanctions, should have the whip withdrawn, thereby disqualifying them as candidates at the next election?
Well, look, that's a matter for the leader of the Labour Party and particularly the chief whip. But I hope that my colleagues will look at what has been offered, which is a much worse deal than the Theresa May deal, which was pretty awful. The economy would have shrunk by 4% under the Theresa May deal. This government hasn't even provided any analysis of this deal. The consequences, the business community, many in the business community have already highlighted, is going to be dire for our constituents, whether they're in leave supporting areas or remain supporting areas or a mix of the two. And what I would say to those colleagues who will be reflecting, who will be looking at all of this, is at the end of the day, we will be judged by what we do for the national interests and how we protect the lives and livelihoods of our constituents. And I know that my colleagues will be putting that first as they make up their mind. And I think it's important that they have the space to do that.
John Mann, Labour MP, is shortly going to join the House of Lords. He said this morning he will vote for the deal, and he thinks that there'll be more than 9 Labour MPs who do so. Would that be your assessment?
I don't know. Maybe John has the inside information, but I think that those colleagues who are in two minds about it, of course, all of us wanted to find a way of being able to settle this in Parliament, but previously Boris Johnson's predecessor, Theresa May, didn't compromise with Labour MPs. We wanted the ability to be able to stay in the customs union, access to the single market, and our conditions were never considered seriously by Theresa May or Boris Johnson. And this government is basically now putting forward a very hard version of Brexit. And this is a transition deal again. And at the end of the day, it's quite possible we'll crash out at the end of the deal. So the question for all of us, and particularly those colleagues who are thinking about voting for it, is that there is a real threat that Boris Johnson, who got the support, perhaps will have got support from some of his ERG colleagues, by promising no deal of this process. And we have to live with that.